Fraboni the snap, Riley the hold, Lutz the kick to win it. Oh! Blocked! The Chiefs have won! The Chiefs have won!
As the pocket got throwing towards the end zone, Laporta! Touchdown! Detroit, Sam Laporta.
Kick is up and it is up and through. It's good. The 49ers win it.
Oh yeah, we are back. First off, stop right there. You got to ask yourself 3 questions before you watch this video. 1, do I enjoy sports? If your answer is yes, ask yourself this question. 2, do I enjoy football? If that is also yes, ask yourself a 3rd question. Do I enjoy entertaining and energetic talk about sports and about football? If your answer is yes, then what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel and you will get this sort of content every single week for the rest of this NFL season. And you're going to get more sports talk from all facets of every different sport. This is the Kenny C Show. Welcome back. First order of business is telling you about what business will be discussed on this episode. We're going to get into Tampa Bay and that NFC South and the Buccaneers continuing to struggle and not getting over the hump of getting that W in games, late in games. We're also going to talk about the Chiefs. Who in the hell can stop them? And we'll also get into the Detroit Lions and them finding their final form. We're going to first start with the second order of business, and that's getting into the business. We're going to start with the Atlanta Falcons here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Their 4th straight loss. AFC South all in the brain right now, but the other 2 teams in that AFC South, Carolina and the Saints, they are nothings, they are nobodies, they are in the top 10 in the NFL draft order. So for Buccaneers fans, shout out to my boy Josh Murphy. You wanted some NFC South talk, you wanted some Buccaneers talk, well, you're going to get it, my man. Todd Bowles, head coach, also the DC of this team. I don't think that it's working in his favor to be running the entire team and also the defense. While he's an awesome defensive mastermind, it has not showed in the secondary. They have the 30th ranked pass defense going into this week, 19th in run defense. The Buccaneers, they find ways to lose games in the back end in the 4th quarter predominantly because their defense is not able to make stops. You look at this loss from this past week, 23-20 to the San Francisco 49ers. They let Purdy and company march down the field with just over 40 seconds, and boom, Jake Moody splits the uprights and gives the Bucs another L. You saw against the Chiefs in week 9. They should have went for 2. Todd Bowles, you gotta go for 2 if you're facing Kansas City in the end of the 4th quarter, because if you go to overtime, you risk seeing the reaction of Baker Mayfield like this after the coin toss in overtime because you know you're not going to see the ball again. Hobbled Mahomes leads them down and beats them in that game. Week 8, they lose to Atlanta because they cannot stop Kyle Pitts and company. Although the one Kyle Pitts touchdown, I think it was in the 3rd quarter, probably should not have been because it looked like the ball came out. But Baker Mayfield has 2 picks in that game. So you also look at the Buccaneers' handling of the ball at the end of games. They just are struggling to finish. They're right there, and they just struggle. The Week 7 loss to Baltimore kind of ran away with it in the second half. Week 5 against Captain Kirk and the Falcons. You're now 0-2 against your division rival on the season. That's it. That's that for that first place in the NFC South. You lost 2 critical games to the Falcons because they're sitting at 6-4. You're at 4-6. That's the difference right there. Kirk leads a drive to force overtime, which was insane because I think there was like 17 seconds left. And then nobody stops Hodge, who walks through your defense. Poor tackling. There's 3 to 4 guys in that area, and they let him walk right through the middle for a 30-plus yard touchdown, and the game in overtime. So the Buccaneers are just not able to find ways to put games away that they have. Baker Mayfield is playing fantastically. He doesn't even have his 2 weapons in Evans and in Godwin. Cade Otton is his primary target. And McMillan out there. I like what Rachaad White has been in the past game, and Bucky Irving has definitely exceeded expectations coming out of the NFL draft. He was a pretty highly touted running back, but he's definitely exceeded what you'd expect from a rookie. The Buccaneers just, it's plain and simple. You don't find ways to win in the clutch time. And that's what they have to figure out and get in a rhythm of real soon before Atlanta truly runs away with this division. But I don't think they're out of it by any stretch. You still have the 5, 6, 7 spots of the wild card. So the Buccaneers are going to battle to the end, but you cannot continue to struggle in games. You have to be able to put it away. Captain Kirk on the other side has led 3 game-winning drives this season, and the Falcons look pretty darn good. So you got your work cut out for you. Next here, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, how many times are we going to see them find a way to win? It's almost like these games are pre-recorded on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then they're aired on game day for the Kansas City Chiefs, because without fail, they find a way to win games. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Patty Mahomes. How many times am I going to sit here and praise them week in and week out, and are we going to praise them? 9-0 in the league, the only undefeated team, and one of the, I'd say, weakest undefeated records that we have seen in recent memory. For a team that is 9-0, they don't look like they should be 9-0, but you know what? It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because they find a way to win the football game through all different sorts of adversity. They get a W, an AFC West divisional matchup against the Broncos. The Broncos are a chip shot field goal away from putting that one singular nail into the coffin of the Chiefs in terms of giving them their first loss, and they can't get it done. The Chiefs block a field goal. Their special teams finds ways. Their defense finds ways. Mahomes and company find ways on offense. This Chiefs team is just unbeatable right now. They just, I don't know what else to say about it. 9 straight second half comebacks. Patty Mahomes, when trailing by double digits, has the best winning percentage of all time with a .576 win percentage and a 19-14 record. They were down 14-3 in the second quarter in this game, and Bo Nix and company were playing well. The Broncos defense was playing well. But then you let them crawl back slowly but surely, and then you can't execute a field goal to put them away and put the singular nail, like I said, in that coffin. Patty Mahomes, the Chiefs, they can't be beat. I mean, you look at the track record. Week 1, they win by a toe. Isaiah Likely of the Ravens, his toe's out of bounds. Week 2, a DPI was called. Butker kicks a field goal. Week 3, they're able to take down the Atlanta Falcons. In the fourth quarter, the Falcons on 4th down, run it with Bijan and get stuffed. The defense coming up big. Steve Spagnuolo coming up big. The list goes on and on. I mean, they pummeled the Saints. They took the game away from the 49ers in Week 7 in the fourth quarter. And Week 9, the Buccaneers, as I already talked about in the first topic, the Buccaneers never get the ball back in overtime, and the Chiefs just find a way. They're like Michael Myers. That is the comparison that I can make for the Kansas City Chiefs. They are like Michael Myers. Just when you think you killed him, just when you think, oh God, he's done, this never-ending movie saga is finally done. Nope. He finds a way to still be alive and comes back and just kills everybody. And that's what the Chiefs are finding a way to do. What do you guys think about this dominance? Who can beat the Chiefs? That's what I really wanted to ask you guys here. Who can stop Kansas City? I'm going to say it is the Baltimore Ravens. Week 1, they were right there by a toe. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are doing things that we have not seen in quite some time, in the sense that you got a quarterback that is right up there for the most passing yards in the league, the best passer rating in the league, leads the league in touchdowns, or was leading the league in touchdowns going into Week 9. And then Derrick Henry leading the league in rushing yards, leading the league in rushing touchdowns. That dual threat is uncanny. The secondary of the Ravens, they need to step up. Marcus Williams is having a rough year so far, but still got Marlon Humphrey, and Kyle Hamilton suffered that injury. So they're a little banged up in the back end. Brandon Stevens has been up and down, but as a formidable team, the Ravens, in my opinion, out of the AFC, give the best run for their money. Give the Chiefs their best run for their money. Now, when it comes to the entire league, and this will segue perfectly into the next topic, the Detroit Lions, averaging the second most points per game in the league. The Chiefs got to be in the bottom half for points per game. So if it comes down to a duel, I think the Lions, that could be our Super Bowl matchup. Lions-Chiefs, and I think the Lions would take it. So the Ravens and the Lions are the two teams that I think could give the Chiefs a run and try to stop them from getting a three-peat. What say you? And that segued perfectly into the final topic of this video. Subscribe, by the way. Stop right there and subscribe if you haven't already. If you got this far, comment an emoji of a football in the comment section below. If you've watched this video up until this point, the Lions, I believe, have finally achieved their final form. Last year, they had a heartbreak loss in the NFC Championship to deprive them of their first ever Super Bowl appearance against the 49ers. I think they grew from that. I think Danny Campbell has really instilled into this team resiliency and finding a way to win, similar to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Detroit Lions, winners of 7 straight, 8-1. They are a powerhouse. Their only loss came to the Buccaneers in week 2, but they pull out a 26-23 victory over Houston on Sunday Night Football. Dan Campbell, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, these guys have their team like a well-oiled Ford. This team just cannot be stopped right now in this NFC. This is a game that we will remember 5, 10, 15 years from now. The Sunday Night Football game between the Lions and the Texans, in which there was 7 total interceptions, 5 from Jared Goff, 2 from CJ Stroud. The record, by the way, is 9 in a game in 1965. The Eagles and the Steelers didn't quite get to it, but hell, it was an ugly game for both offenses. Jared Goff completely screwed me in fantasy football. He got me about 2 points, and he had negative 0.65 points through a majority of the game. But you know what? Jared Goff and the Lions don't give a damn about fantasy football and who owns them in their leagues. They care about finding a way to win, and that's what the Lions did. 5 interceptions for Jared Goff. He's the first quarterback since Matt Ryan in 2012 to toss that many interceptions and still win the game. Here's a little tidbit for you guys. You see all the green around me. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I thought this interesting. I did a little research. I go, well, Favre has the most interceptions of all time by a quarterback. What was the most he threw in a game? Ironically, his stats in Week 8 on October 30th, 2005 against the Cincinnati Bengals were eerily similar to Jared Goff. Jared Goff went 15 for 30, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Brett Favre in that game, 26 for 39, 279 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 picks. But you know what the difference is? The Packers didn't win that game. The Lions won this game. First team since the 1970 NFL-AFL merger to trail by 15 plus points and have their quarterback throw 5 interceptions, but still come out on top. They're averaging 31.6 points per game. Their defense, albeit the 21st overall total defense per Fox Sports Stats, they still average 2.0 turnovers a game, which is good for the 3rd most in the entire NFL. They take the ball away, they make timely stops, and that's what they did against CJ Stroud and this Texans offense, who completely got stifled by the Lions. They fell flat, they fell stagnant, they fall to 6-4, but fortunately for the Texans on their side of things in the AFC South, they don't have to worry about not winning the division because the Colts are 4-6 and the Titans and the Jags are in top 10 in the NFL draft order for 2025. So the Texans, you start to worry about them because the Jets beat them as well. And they're in a kind of a rut right now. They've lost some games against playoff contending teams. On the side of the Lions, I mean, I don't think there's a single team in the NFC that can stop this team. They're 2-0 against the division. Maybe the Packers get one in that December game. The Vikings, maybe they get one. They're going to steamroll the Bears, in my opinion. The Falcons, I don't think, are good enough to beat the Lions. I don't think there's a team in the National Football League that can stop this Lions team, and that's why I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. So they have achieved their final form. They are humming. Their offense is electric. Their defense comes up big in key situations, and they're a well-coached team. That's what defines a good team. A well-coached team will top a team that has talent, i.e. the New York Jets, but no leadership from the top. And I could go on a whole diatribe about the Jets, but I won't because I already have. And at this point, they're donezo in my opinion. You're 3-7 now. That was the final pebble that fell from the rock heap and caused the earthquake because it's all downhill for them. But the Lions are a a team that just knows how to win and is well coached and well disciplined. What say you? Drop your comments, comment section below. Packers fans, stay tuned. I'll hit you guys with a Packers video very soon. And for my NFL fans, this is coming all season long.